Ladies and gentlemen, the World Flying Association is Chair Vice all three rounds in the Lions Heavyweight Division. The division first in the red corner, the black and silver, weighing at 175 pounds. Entering the ring for the 121st time, from Middleton, Daryl and his opponent in the blue corner, the red, green and white, weighing at 174 pounds. Each man one man and no defeats from Port Talent,
So this light heavyweight contest between Aaron Bird in the red and green shorts and the very experienced, to put it mildly, Daryl Sharp in the black and grey shorts, or black and silver.
Absolutely, Daryl Sharp, kind of a throwback journeyman in the same sort of guise as Christian Late. A bit closer. You know, vastly experienced, as you say. Comes straight out, looking to throw and looking to put Bird in his place straight off. Very aggressive southpaw stance.
I've watched Daryl Sharp box quite a few times over the last 6 months. I've noticed he has a go in the first round. He actually was in this very ring against was the last show here. He against Mark Jones, was it? He put a he put a real effort up to try and cause the upset early on, setting traps.
Just glancing right hook there to Bird's jaw. It's made him think a little bit, but Bird gets behind the jab. Very stiff jab from Bird.
Just to put into context the experience level, this is Aaron Bird's second contest and it's Daryl Sharp's 121st.
Sharp again trying to work that right jab, looking for the left hook over the top. Doesn't quite get there. Bird makes sure that he circles away from that left. He's coming onto the left now, and you can see straight away that Daryl Sharp's looking for that. He's looking for it all day long.
Bird a little bit tentative early on, Rich?
A little bit, yeah, but I think he's got every right to be, because like you said, I mean, Daryl Sharp pulling every trick out. I mean, I absolutely love what he just did there. I don't know if you picked up on that, pointing at the floor, trying to get Bird's attention, and then obviously looking for the big left hook. Bird didn't fall for it, but you know, very elementary.
Sorry to interrupt you, Rich. There's a mark under the right eye of Daryl Sharp. I'm not sure if he perhaps came into the contest with it or something there.
I didn't notice it. I saw him in the change rooms earlier. I didn't notice it. I think that's actually been caused by the very stiff left jab of Bird. Definitely would have noticed that. You can see it's a little bit glassy. It's a little bit marked up. Daryl Sharp's still going for it. Massive right hook there. And he's working on the inside as well. He's definitely making a contest of this.
Daryl Sharp now is probably actually worried that if he gets a bad bruising or worst case scenario a cut, he could be out of action for a few months, and that could be 2 or 3 fights down the drain for him.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. You know, he's a very experienced lad, like you said, and I mean, I've thrown him in against Jake Anthony, and I think it was in Jake's maybe 5th or 6th fight, and I wondered if perhaps I was throwing him in just a little bit too soon, because he's the type of journeyman. If he smells a bit of blood in the water, then of course he'll go for it. When he fought Jake, he was fighting at 12 stone. He's fighting at light heavyweight here, a little bit bigger, but you know, he looks very comfortable with it, doesn't he?
Aaron Bird now seems to have settled down.
Yeah, Sharp just trying to entice him in, calling him in, trying to draw him into a scrap, and massive right hook, and he's calling him in. He's desperate to draw him into a war, isn't he?
Interesting first round of boxing.
Absolutely.
So into the second, and there was Mark Davis, who Daryl Sharp fought here a few months ago, as Dewi Powell next week pointed out. Apologies to Mark. Very good boxer from Caerphilly, now up and coming pro.
Kieran Farrell in the corner there with Daryl Sharp. Quite surprised to see that obviously he is quite badly marked over that eye. Kieran was quite animated in the corner, giving him instructions. You can see Daryl's very, very keen to get into Bird, but I didn't see any application of the end swell. I mean, I would have thought that would have been the type of injury where you needed to get cold iron on that straight away.
There's a good right hand momentarily from Bird. He's very patient, Bird, not rushing anything, not getting drawn into any of the traps the Sharp is setting.
Just looking away at the referee, looking over at the crowd, trying to draw Bird's attention away from him. Literally pulling every trick in the book out here to try to distract him from the business at hand. Still marauding forward, and Bird keeping him honest with that jab. Just double jab there, lovely. Draws him onto a lovely straight right, and you can see Sharp is beckoning him for him to share the centre of the ring with him, begging him to engage in a war, but Bird not interested, and quite rightly as the young prospect, the young home fighter. He's got to stay disciplined. He's got to make sure that he keeps sharp on the end of his jab so that he doesn't catch one of those big right and left hooks that he keeps winging in.
Aaron Bird from Port Talbot.
Decent body shot there from Sharp. Just posturing, just feinting, lifting that right leg again, trying to draw the attention away. Bird unfazed, nice double jab, pushes Sharp back a little bit. Again, Sharp marauds forward, trying to draw him into some action.
Daryl Sharp really has got a I'll fight anyone type of attitude. Nice good shot from Bird.
Lovely shot from Bird. A straight left after a lead right, I think. And you know, I mean, if Sharp is coming on to that right, then
good solid jab from Bird again.
Absolutely fantastic jab. He needs to stay disciplined like this. Double jab pushes Sharp back.
Of course, Sharp has seen all this before. He's really has fought a who's who of British boxing.
Oh, absolutely. And if you don't stay switched on against him, then of course, you know, if he can, then he's going to hurt you, and he's going to try and get you out of there. In his last two fights, or wins, I should say, he's got a points win over Andy Simpson, in December 2022, I think. And then, of course, Aidan Anderson was stopped by him in the third round, a TKO in, I think it was February 22. And you know, if he sees an opportunity, he's going to take it. And of course, he doesn't want to be before the board for a number of losses. No journeyman wants that. So every now and again, they'll try and get that win, you know.
So into the third, and I'm delighted to be joined by Dewi Powell of KO Cymru. Dewi, what do you think of Aaron Bird's performance so far?
I think it's been okay. I think he maybe was taken by surprise of Daryl Sharp's ambition. In the opening round, we've seen Daryl Sharp go through the motions and do a great job, you know, in that journeyman role so often for so many fights. That's probably the most aggression I've seen him show during you know, any round I've watched him. But so, you know, fair play to him to give Aaron Bird a couple of things to think about. Then introduced his jab, and you can see the mark under Daryl Sharp's right eye. I don't think they've got an end swell in the corner, which is why it's maybe worse than it should be, but you're just seeing Aaron Bird at this mid-range just starting to work out Daryl Sharp, get the read on him and score with those long straight shots.
What sort of advice do you think Bird's cornermen are telling him in between the round? Obviously he's fighting a really tricky customer, Daryl Sharp, who's, as Richie was saying, is goading him. You can see him talking to him right now, smiling in his face, snarling in his face.
I think the corner are likely to tell Aaron Bird just to be a bit more proactive. I think Daryl Sharp has slightly slowed his approach, and that's because of those long straight shots from Aaron Bird. I've just noticed his laces have completely come undone on his left boot, but I don't think referee Rhys Carter has noticed so far. But yeah, I think the corner will just be telling Bird to be a bit more proactive, give Daryl Sharp something to think about. Daryl Sharp uses all of the tricks of the trade in talking, in pointing, in goading, and Aaron Bird, I don't think has bought into that, so that's definitely a positive.
And just picking up on what Debbie was saying, his boot is wide open now, his left boot of Aaron Bird. Referee Rhys Carter hasn't noticed. I've noticed that Daryl Sharp stepped on the lace a few times.
Yeah, and of course with Daryl Sharp being a southpaw, their lead foots are on the same side, so that could be an accident waiting to happen.
Referee Rhys Carter from Bridgend. His eyes are on the boxers, the upper half of the boxers. It's nice use of the jab again from Bird. As Debbie was saying, maybe just a little bit too patient perhaps. But then again, it's easy to say that when you're on the safe side of the ropes, not facing a tricky customer like Sharp. if Daryl Sharp was getting paid for the amount of talking he does in the ring, he'd be a very rich boxer.
But we have seen fights in the past where rounds have been won on body language, where there's not much clean work between both boxers, but the boxer who presents that he's in control of things has sometimes managed to sway the judges. Obviously, it's just one scoring referee today, but I think Daryl Sharp is he's certainly having an effect on the fight with his body language. I think he's doing what he I think is having the effect that he intends it to.
Aaron Bird from Port Talbot in the green and red shorts, on his feet well before the bell for the start of this round, and Daryl Sharp just calls him into the corner.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely fantastic. He's desperate to have a go. He's desperate to draw him into the fight. He wants that war. At the end of the round, actually motioned to the crowd, shouted to the crowd, Daryl Sharp, he's running away, he's running away, he's running from me. Desperate to try to get him to engage. But he's working that jab lovely. And he doesn't want to get caught by Daryl Sharp. He does have heavy hands, and we know he can stop people. He's done it in the past.
And let's remember, when we're watching this, and we've perhaps been a little bit critical of Bird, this is only his second pro contest, and he's facing a veteran of 120 fights, 121st fight tonight.
Oh, I mean, I'm not critical of the performance at all. I mean, he's there to do a job. He's there to come away with a win, and against a guy like Sharp, he's dominating behind the jab. Sharp's got that massive welt, that massive mouse on his right eye. So I mean, he's quite right just to work into that and make sure that he's as handicapped as possible in respect of seeing the punches come in. He's doing the right thing. I mean, he's following instructions in the corner. He's remaining disciplined, and he's doing everything right. I mean, it's not exciting, and I'm sure lots of the crowd would love to see him stand toe-to-toe in the centre of the ring with Daryl Sharp, but it just doesn't make sense to do it, does it?
I notice Bird as well, he's not overcommitting himself when he throws the jab, because Daryl Sharp, you can see, he's just waiting to launch one of those big counter shot swings. So Bird is just doubling up on his jab, but he's not pushing forward too much, not walking onto any of those shots. And of course as well, Daryl Sharp, a southpaw, which some boxers find tricky. I mean, I've never spoke to Aaron Bird about it, but this is better from Bird. His corner egging him on, telling him to keep the pressure on.
First time he's really pushed Daryl Sharp back, and Daryl Sharp has gone backwards, but that was to invite Bird in. But that's the first time really that he's actually pushed him back with any meaningful pressure. Other than that, he's just worked the jab lovely, and it's been a very workmanlike, very industrious and very disciplined performance.
Yeah, Bird deserves credit just for maintaining his composure, because a lot of young fighters, and I've watched it quite a few times, I've watched Sharp fight a lot over the last 12 months, and some fighters just get drawn in by his antics. I've actually had Daryl Sharp lean over the ropes and talk to me during a fight in the York Hall, during the commentary. That's a nice body shot.
Oh, body shot? Look a little bit low.
On the borderline, I think. We'll have to look at the replay for that one, Rich.
I don't want to take those types of shots.
Oh, lovely, a straight right from Bird.
Doubled up the jab and then went with a straight right, which puts Daryl back, and of course,
and that's got a response from Sharp.
And we're seeing a reinvigorated Sharp now. He's really going for it. He's really closing the distance.
I think now with Bird, and there's the bell. I was just going to say, if Bird could time a counter shot, he may be able to catch Sharp coming in. But I'm sure Aaron Bird from Port Talbot will have learned a lot from that contest.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, 4 rounds of boxing begun to the referee scorecard. The scores are about 40 to 36 for the winner and still